Do you want to know how the battle against the Night King is going to go down? If Bran's Hail Mary plan works, well then you've come to the right place. Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. This upcoming episode has everyone reeling with anxiety, so let me tell you how I think it's all gonna go down. If you've been a subscriber to my channel for a while, first off, squad, but secondly, back in October 2017, I did some predictions on this big standoff showdown at Winterfell, and not much has changed since that video, but some things have based on new evidence from the previous 2 episodes, preview trailers, and things like that. I'm gonna say it now, the Night King will not get defeated at Winterfell. So far, we haven't seen the Night King, but just because we haven't seen the Night King doesn't mean the Night King is gonna go around Winterfell and head south. In the last scene of episode 2, we see a long formation of White Walkers, but no Night King. They make us think we see Viserion in the preview with the Night King on the back of Viserion, but that's not Viserion. That is indeed Daenerys on Drogon. If you lighten it up, you can clearly see it's Daenerys on Drogon. So where is the Night King? If you look back at Hardhome, the Night King comes when the fighting is almost over, and he watches in the distance. At the lake attack too, he doesn't appear until Jon and company are surrounded on the island with no escape. But when it comes to Bran, he did show up at Bloodraven's cave, ready to go, first in line, but he did know that Bran and Bloodraven didn't have an army waiting for him. So it might be like what Jaime says, the Night King will never expose himself if killing him would kill his army. So it might be likely that the Night King is just sitting back, waiting for the right time. I was asked about how many White Walkers does the Night King have, so I'm gonna just answer that right here. The White Walkers are made from the children of Craster. Craster gives his babies to the Night King and they make more White Walkers. Craster says he had 99 sons, so that's 99 White Walkers, minus the 2 that Jon killed, the 1 Mira killed, and the 1 Sam killed. So 95 White Walkers at the least. There could be even more though, because surely other people beyond the wall could have been giving the Night King's sons to turn to White Walkers as well. It's been my belief for a long time that there will be 2 fights against the Night King. And I also thought that the main fight against the Night King would happen in the Riverlands. Every battle ever that was significant was decided in the Riverlands. Rhaegar died on the Trident fighting Bobby B. Aegon burned Black Heron on the banks of the God's Eye, and Torrhen Stark knelt on the Trident. Robb Stark was slayed at the Twins by the Freys. Aemon and Daemon fought to the death with their dragons during the dance above the God's Eye. I could go on and on. Every battle has ended in the Riverlands that was ever significant to our story. Even the first promo for Game of Thrones Season 8 was ice and fire, and they met and formed a wall of dragonglass in the Riverlands right at the Trident. So the big problem with this theory, with my initial theory, is that there are only 2 battles slated for Game of Thrones Season 8. Which obviously makes it seem like there will be a battle against the Night King, and then later, after the Night King is defeated, a battle against Cersei. But in my opinion, the Night King cannot just go down that quickly or that easy. The Night King is the big bad. He's been built up season after season after season as the villain, the ultimate villain. There is no way this plan of Bran's is gonna work, and they don't have enough to beat the army of the dead. I think they're gonna take that L. So let me explain what I think could happen. We were shown in season 2, episode 10, Daenerys at the House of the Undying. When she is there, she sees the Red Keep covered in snow and destroyed. Talking Thrones, like a long ass time ago, pointed out that it is the White Walker music that is playing in the background when she goes to the House of the Undying and sees this. So this does indeed point to the fact that the Night King is going to make it to King's Landing. Also, the roof is burned off, like it was burned off with dragon fire. If it was wildfire, the whole building would be destroyed like the Sept of Baelor. But in the scene, it's just the roof. The structure remains. Dragon fire being used on a castle wouldn't destroy it completely like an explosion of wildfire would. So I definitely think that the Night King will make it to King's Landing, or at least he will try to. Maybe it's Daenerys that ends up burning the roof off the place with her dragon. But in order for any of this to happen, the Night King must make it past Winterfell. The plan is to hold off the army of the dead as long as they can, lure the Night King into the Godswood using Bran as bait, and then try to kill the Night King. But what is the likelihood of the Night King falling for this shit? It's hinted at that the Night King is a green seer like Bran, and that's how the Night King is able to touch Bran in Bran's vision. The Night King laid a trap for them beyond the wall to get his dragon in season 7. So he's not just gonna walk into some Hail Mary trap. I mean, as far as we know, the Night King isn't even there. So their plan to kill him won't work because he's not there. He's not exposing himself to be killed like Jaime said. So while the army of the dead are engaging with the army of the living, the Night King decides, hey, I'm gonna go around Winterfell, swell my army some more, and I'll be back for Bran Stark. There has to be some reason Jon asked Tyrion the population of King's Landing last season. Those lines are not throwaway lines. A number like that has to come into play. So I think the army of the dead being led by the White Walkers will fight the living at Winterfell while the Night King just goes around them. If you look at this photo from episode 2, you can see the White Walkers are seemingly being led by this White Walker. This one with the bun. Some have speculated that this is the Night's Queen. I tend to think it's just the White Walker with a man bun. This guy from last season, the one that handed the Night King the spear. But I do think he's like the Night King's hand of the king, like his second in command. And I say this because he has a very specific weapon. He has the weapon that the Night King usually has, this Grim Reaper looking thing. And none of the other White Walkers have a weapon like this or have had a weapon like this that we have seen. So it's likely he or she is the one commanding Man Bun White Walker. They don't have enough to stop the army of the dead. And once they see that the Night King is not going to show his face and their plan has fallen to shit, they are going to retreat and try to let the storm pass. In the trailer, you can tell that they did indeed retreat. In this shot, Jaime and Brienne are on the front lines of battle, but in this shot, they are fighting on the battlements of Winterfell. Both Jaime and Brienne. If you have been watching me for a while, you know that I believe all roads lead to the crypts of Winterfell. In episode 2, how many times did characters drop the hint that the crypts are the safest place to be? I've talked about the crypts more in depth in other videos and how they will play into this war in other videos. I will link those videos for you. But the gist of the crypts is that they are the oldest part of Winterfell. Winterfell was built by Brandon the Builder after the Long Night. Most of the evidence points to the crypts at one time being a secret tree town of the Children of the Forest. So the crypts of Winterfell were once like the cave of the Three-Eyed Raven, and that is why the ground was never leveled before Bran the Builder built the castle. So like Bloodraven's cave, the magics that move the dead will not work in the crypts of Winterfell. Also, there are all these secret tunnels in Winterfell that no one knows about, ways to escape. Maester Luwin tells Theon about them in season 2. The problem is, Bran likely can't go into the crypts because of the mark that is on him. That mark, the Night King's mark, broke the magic on the cave, so it could potentially do the same to the crypts, and then we have a whole problem with the dead of House Stark rising if that magic is broken. So maybe Daenerys or Jon are going to take Bran away on a dragon, throw his ass up on a dragon and pull off. And they'll do that while everybody else goes down into the crypts. Or maybe Bran goes down into the crypts anyway and we get a Hodor Part 2 situation. So I feel like the Night King starts marching south, and while they are marching south, Jon and company are marching south as well, a few steps behind them. So we haven't seen or heard from Cersei, but she banged Euron, and she didn't do it for the fun of it. She must want him to do something. Likely she wants him to go north. So while the Night King is advancing south, Cersei has her forces marching north, and the Golden Company and the Greyjoys meet up with the Night King in the Riverlands and engage in battle. And when all seems lost, Jon and Daenerys show up with dragons and direwolves and the remainder of their forces and bangs the army of the dead right in the butt. The Night King flees away, running on Viserion towards King's Landing, trying to get those 1 million people and make them his army. Jon and Dany saving the Golden Company will cause the Golden Company and Cersei's forces to become Team Targaryen. They will abandon Cersei and they will march together towards King's Landing to kill her and the Night King. And this will be the actual final showdown with the Night King. I mean, this is how I think it will go down. You can go back and watch the version I did in 2017. I just feel like the Night King isn't gonna be defeated that easy. He's not dumb. He's not gonna fall for the okie doke. And I also don't think they will make Cersei a bigger villain than the Night King. If the Night King is defeated and then they still have to deal with Cersei, I just feel like she becomes the big bad and not the Night King. I don't know, guys. This is the best prediction I got. It's been my belief since 2017, and I'm not about to flip-flop on it now. I'm all in. But what do you think? How do you think this battle is going to go down? Who lives? Who dies? How does it happen? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.